Good morning and welcome to Children's Chapel at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in the Green Lake neighborhood of Seattle. It's so wonderful to have you here. My name is Reverend Rebecca Kirkpatrick, and today we're talking about Jesus lifting our anxieties and our burdens. Today's gospel comes from Matthew chapter 11. When Jesus had a crowd standing around him, he said to them, "What I am showing you and what I am doing comes directly from God. You cannot know me as well as God knows me, but you can know God through me, and because of the things that I teach you. If you are tired and you feel like you are carrying heavy things in your heart or on your body, come to me. If you follow me," he says, "I will show you a different life where you can rest. Come with me, work with me, so you can learn how I do it. I will show you how I help you when you are carrying heavy things or things that are difficult for you. I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest in your souls with me." Does that ring true for you? Does Jesus help you with your burdens? I know that Jesus is always there for me and helps me to carry things. I mean, there are things that we carry, right? Like, have you ever carried a suitcase up a staircase? Or carried a heavy box into the house? Or maybe you've even seen someone, or maybe you have carried a piano all the way across the street. Those are literally heavy things that we physically carry, and they can make our legs shake and our arms shake. But what Jesus is talking about is something a little bit different. He's talking about not what physically gives us burden, but what in our mind, what gives us burden and worry. We also call this anxiety. So today in our book, let's explore that topic.
The book is entitled Listening with My Heart by Gabby Garcia and illustrated by Yin Hu Tan, a story of kindness and compassion. The book is called Listening with My Heart by Gabby Garcia and illustrated by Yin.
Esperanza's tummy fluttered as she practiced her lines on the porch. Today was the class play. Waiting for Mama to walk with her to school, she paced back and forth when she spotted a heart-shaped rock. Esperanza picked it up and showed it to Mama as soon as she walked out. "I see you found a little treasure," said Mama. She rubbed its rough surface and felt a twinkle of joy. "Maybe it's a sign." "For what?" asked Mama. Esperanza thought about the class play later that afternoon and wondered what it would be like to be in the spotlight. "To put my heart into everything I do," she answered. At that moment, they heard scratching and a soft cry. Esperanza peeked under the stairs and spotted a kitty shaking and shivering. No Mama in sight, she scooped the kitten into her lap and cuddled her. "She's all alone. I think she's hungry." Esperanza reached into her lunch bag, pinched off a piece of chicken, and offered it to the kitty, who gobbled it up. "Mama, I think the rock is a reminder to spread kindness and love. That's what we do when we listen with our hearts." "I think you're onto something," said Mama. "Can we keep Cleopatra, please?" asked Esperanza, who had already named the kitty. "Queens are already welcome at our house," said Mama. "If she's still there after school, we'll take her in." At school, Esperanza was more focused on the play than on math or reading. Clutching her script during recess, she noticed Bao sitting alone on a bench. He was new in school this week and didn't speak English. She wondered if he felt lonely or scared. Esperanza found a soccer ball and kicked it over to him. A smile spread across Bao's face. He stood, popped the ball in the air, and bounced it between his knee and his head a few times. "Dude's got moves," said Esperanza. They spent the rest of recess giggling and making up hand signals. Afterwards, Esperanza borrowed Miss Owen's English-Vietnamese dictionary. She wrote "friend" in Vietnamese, drew a picture of Bao and her, then placed it on his desk. Esperanza rubbed the rock in her pocket. Listening with her heart made her feel peaceful inside. Finally, it was time for the performance. It was too late for Bao to be in the play, but he stood at Mrs. Owen's side as a stagehand. Excitement bubbled as Esperanza waited for her cue. Esperanza walked on stage, tripped as she was about to say her first line, and splattered across the stage. When she got up, Esperanza forgot her lines, so Mrs. Owen whispered them to her from backstage. Heat rushed through Esperanza's body as all eyes were glued on her. She wished she could have disappeared. I ruined the play, Esperanza thought, rushing off stage as soon as she had finished her part. I messed up in front of everyone. She tucked herself in behind some props so no one else would see her. Esperanza noticed her body shaking and her face still burning. She took a deep breath and tears streamed down her face. Esperanza dug out the rock in her pocket. It was cracked and lopsided, just as how she felt. Esperanza touched her hand to her heart and felt the disappointment. A few minutes later, Bao walked over and handed Esperanza a drawing of her with the word friend written above it. Esperanza noticed, and she nodded. She realized she hadn't been treating herself like a friend. Esperanza realized this wasn't the first time she'd been unkind to herself. At the soccer game last weekend, she missed the ball that swooshed right by her head, and they lost the game. Nice work, a player from that team yelled as the others laughed. Esperanza thought she had let her team down and was the worst soccer player in the world. Thinking those thoughts had made her feel even worse. At the curtain call, Esperanza reminded herself she hadn't ruined the play. She had had an accident, and accidents happen to everyone. Listening with her heart wasn't just about spreading kindness and love to others. It was about giving it to herself, too. I can be a friend to myself, thought Esperanza. When Esperanza got home, she decided to do some of her favorite things. She zipped down the hill on her bike, then spent the afternoon painting at the kitchen table. She also got the hug she needed from her mama and some cuddles from Cleopatra. Have you ever felt like Esperanza and had a bad day, maybe on the soccer field or at school in a play or some other setting? Everyone messes up, makes mistakes, and feels really big emotions. It's totally normal. There's an exercise that I'd love for you to try. If you'd place both hands over your heart, notice your hands touching each other and touching your heart. Now take a few deep breaths. And close your eyes if you'd like to. What loving and understanding words or phrases would you like to hear when you're having a tough time or feeling upset? What would you say to a friend if they were upset and you wanted to comfort them? Take some time and see what words or phrases come up for you. Write them down or read them to yourself so that you can hear them out loud. Saying what you would to a friend, to yourself, can bring comfort and love. And spreading that kindness to yourself spreads kindness into the larger world. I want us to close in prayer. Loving God, thank you for helping us carry our burdens and for showing us celebration, compassion, and mercy. Guide our ears, eyes, mouth, hands, and feet, that we may engage in the work of being kind to ourselves and to our friends. What words of comfort we would bring to our friends, may we bring them to ourselves. Everyone makes mistakes, but we know that God, you love us so much, and so do our friends and families. Amen. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next Sunday. Take care.